Okay, I think a lot of people might be interested in this video if you have a camper and you have one of those old campers like I do. Let me see if I can show it to you here. See right there. And it's got the the typical refrigerator where it works pretty good when it's on electric, but then when you have to run it on propane, it sucks, especially if the temperature gets really hot outside. And so the idea here is where you see it, let me see if I can kind of zoom in on that a little bit there, where you see it say the word Nash on there, right in that area from that cover below it all the way up to the roof. That whole area is where the coils are for where it has ammonia that it uses for the propane. And so because it's got a flame going down there, it creates a lot of heat. So then if the temperature is 90 degrees outside, then your refrigerator temperature keeps going up because it can't keep up with it. So what you do is you put a shade over it. And so my wife didn't want anything that was too redneck, hillbilly looking. So I came up with something and didn't cost too much. So anyway, she said, "Oh, you should make a video of this." And I said, "Okay." So let me get my camera adjusted here just a little bit. So we're zoomed out. Got this mounted to my chest. Oh yes, and my gloves, you'll notice, if any of my other videos, you notice I date my gloves month and year. And the reason why is because I have so many of these pair all over the place. This helps me to keep them organized as to which left goes with which right. Okay, so this shade material here, as you can see, it's white, black trim. There's all kinds of different colors. I got this on Amazon. I'll put links to all this stuff. That shade was $25. And white is pretty good at reflecting. So you don't want darker colors because dark absorbs heat energy. So we want it to reflect. And as you can see here, it's PVC. So I'm gonna turn this upside down like this here, put it in the bed of my truck so we can see better. So this is the part that goes at the bottom, down there, underneath the word Nash, all the way down there below that white plate there, the cover plate. That's the back side of the fridge. So this are like standoffs, and I wanted it so that I could remove these. And of course I didn't glue this part. This is 1/2 inch here, and this is threaded, so I can take that off like that. So I'm going to take this one off. So now at least the thing's flat. And for me, what I'm going to do is I just take this inside the camper and I lay it right on the bed. If you're somebody that needs to be able to have this thing smaller, you can probably figure out a way to cut this maybe in the middle and have it so that one end has a threaded part and the other part has the female threaded, so you can just screw those together. But in this case I don't have to. So just to kind of help you out here a little bit, I don't always know the names of all this stuff, but here I'm using 3/4 PVC for the actual frame. I just went ahead and did 1/2 inch here just because it, a little smaller. You could do 3/4 also, but these you can typically find in the store. So it's 3/4 by 3/4 on this elbow, and then it has the 1/2 inch pipe thread here. And so you need 4 of those, and then your PVC on the long part here, those are 57.5 inches. So you got 2 of those, and then here we have 33 inches, so 2 of those. So and then what I did on this end, this is at the top. So this is the part that's kind of interesting. So it depends on your camper. So my camper actually has, let me see if I can get a shot of this. Yeah, I think you can see that there. Yeah, my camper has a little gutter, very small gutter, but it's metal, and that part would fit right into there. So what I did is I bought, same idea here, where these unscrew. These can unscrew, put them on, and then that way I can kind of line this up. And I took this is basically just a a PVC fitting that's just, it closes off the end of it. So I did glue that into here, but what I also did is I put this in my vise, and I just took a saw blade and I just kept cutting until I notched it out just enough, and then did that one over there. And so that makes it so that this thing will hang on the side. So let's do this real quick. Put it back down. So when that's hanging on the side, then I also have just a bungee cord with a nice big hook on it, and I'll hook this here and I'll run that down. In this case, I'm running it in, see, there's a mud flap behind the back wheel, so I just hook it back to there, and that holds this against the camper so that when the wind's blowing, it can't go anywhere. So let me show you this here. So on the corners, because the material stretches just a little bit, so what I've got here is I've got screws. Here's what I've got going here. I've got on the four corners, I just did the straight screws like this, because there's enough pressure being pulled from one corner to the adjacent corner, that way and that way. So that's tight enough, and that holds that in place. When I'm doing the sides, I actually use I went ahead and used a little washer to kind of fill that in just a little bit, to hold that into the grommet that's on the shade. So that's what I'm doing there. That screw size that I'm using is a number 10, they call it, a 10 by 3/4. You could also use a 10 by 1/2 inch in length, but I just happen to have 10 by 3/4. So now, the way I did this is I glued, after the piece was cut, I glued it in, and then I drilled the hole and then put the screw in. And then of course you just keep the screw just, not all the way down, but give it enough there so you can come over and you click that puppy in like that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I went ahead, I didn't do the sides at first, but it does look better when the sides are there, especially with the wind. I've got one on the bottom. So in total there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So 14 screws and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 washers. And I believe that's how that works. So what I'm going to do is put this puppy together again real quick, and then we're going to go hang it up. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to pause it. Okay, I made it over here to the camper. I'm going to hook the top real quick. There we go. And of course I can slide it over a little bit. Let me grab this. And I think all I'll do is take my phone off my holder here, so you can see. Here's how it looks up here. And I need standoff here because there is heat. That on this particular camper, there is heat that comes out of these down here. And then plus I want air to be able to breathe in through here. Plus I can get in there a little easier if I need to. Okay, so now I'll just take this, hook it to there. In some cases you might be able to use two bungee cords. There you go. And that thing's on there. I mean, if you had a pretty strong wind, I guess it could go somewhere. So that should definitely help and solve that problem. I'm going to show you up top real quick. Okay, so here it is at the top. You can see how this just lays right in there. Let me see if I can lift it. I got it on that bungee on the bottom. Yeah, just like that. Just clicks right in. I was thinking about trying to do it on this here, but this is kind of like a flimsy plastic piece, so I thought that would possibly break. This on my camper, on this Nash, is actually metal. And so hopefully this will help somebody that's having the problem with the refrigerator warming up too much when the temperature is like, I don't know, 85 and above when you're camping and you're running it on propane. All right, take care. See you at the next video.